I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go on.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact. If you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is
Knock off, you scumbucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go on. Ready to escape.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, please with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up the program. Can't you feel stuck up? You just locked up. That's the line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about,
Happy days.
it's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go on. Ready to escape. These days.
Feel like shit. My suggestion is distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the farm.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I'm like a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Woody, and welcome to episode 81 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. I'm just seeing my connection banner up on my screen, which is not doing too well. Hopefully, it won't be as bad as the previous episode. I know it wasn't like bad, of course, with the last episode, but I think it's primarily to do with my VPN. But hopefully, just hopefully for today or tonight even, it will be running quite smoothly. So if there comes a point where I might be quiet or maybe stutter throughout the show because of the connection, I do apologize in advance, just in case if it does happen, because I don't see that happening tonight, but just in case if it does, then you'll know what will happen. So let's have a look and see. I hope everyone has had a great weekend. I know today's Sunday. It's been pretty warm today, surprisingly enough. It was supposed to be roasting hot where I'm living yesterday, but it wasn't too bad. I think it was maybe a slight showers and all of that here and there, but overall it wasn't like too warm. But today it's like it was just boiling hot, absolutely roasting hot for some reason. Even this morning it was quite hot, which I was really taken aback by. But hopefully that might be the start of the summer weather, and maybe it might be like this throughout the rest of the week. Who knows? But we'll definitely shall see. Let me have a look and see here. If we have a look and see who's in the chat just now, a lot of familiar faces. Of course, I'm live on YouTube, Odysee, DLive, and Entropy as per usual. We have Gammon Sandwich in the chat. How you doing? Rigor Mortis is with us as well. Thanks very much for watching. Let me see here. Toby Radley, how you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. We have Kerr from PA Young Scots with us. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. Rory Herbert is with us as per usual. Thanks very much for watching. English Sailor is with us. Good evening, Chief, Moody, and chat. Just listening today, it sounds a bit spicy. Well, we've got quite a range of topics to talk about tonight, which of course I might as well just get this out of the way just now, but I think it has been confirmed, but I'm not entirely too sure because you never know. Up until Thursday, this coming Thursday, of course, some things might change, but you never know. What I'm trying to say is, I know I did say in the previous episode tonight, I was going to talk about the Roe v. Wade controversy, or if you want to call it that, for tonight's episode, but I've decided I'm going to wait until this Thursday's episode, which will be episode 82 of Mood of the Nation. And the reason why I'm going to postpone that topic to that episode is mainly because I'm going to be having a guest on that evening. And I don't know if I might want to say it now or maybe wait until the time comes. Screw it. I might as well just say it just now because I'm pretty sure it has been confirmed. He's definitely going to be coming on the show. But for Thursday's episode, my guest that evening will be none other than Horace. I had a chat with them here and there throughout this weekend. As a matter of fact, my first thing I messaged him about was it actually him in the stream the previous episode? Because again, you never know if it was actually him or some troll trying to pretend to be one of us. But thankfully, he did confirm that yes, it was him, and of course, he would be interested in coming on Mood of the Nation. So, of course, we talked about if he would be available for next week, either Thursday or Sunday. And he did say that yeah, he would be available, which of course was perfect. So this coming Thursday, which just want to double check and see what date that would be. So today's the 8th. That would be Thursday, the 12th of May. So on that episode, and definitely write this down in your calendars if you can. So Thursday, the 12th of May at 6 p.m. UK time, myself and Horace will be live on Mood of the Nation, episode 82, and we will be talking about the Roe v. Wade controversy. Possibly other topics as well, but again, we're not entirely too sure. I'll need to get back on him on that. Or if he wants to, he can also enlighten me with some topics he would like to discuss. And then we shall see for that episode. Horace is very knowledgeable and a lovely guy. Yeah, he seems like a really good guest from what I've seen in previous shows. And of course, that's English Rose in the chat. How you doing? I might as well mention that as well. Exile Viking is with us. How you doing? Aunt Sally is with us. How you doing, Aunt Sally? Thanks very much for watching the show. Let me see here. Ragnar Iron Spear is with us. How you doing? Was there anyone else? Dr. Jimmy, how you doing? Thanks very much for watching. Jacob G4746, how you doing? Thanks very much for the show as per usual. Watching the show as per usual, I should say. Roscoe is with us. How you doing, Roscoe? Thanks very much for watching. Ethan Chief, Ethan Troops, Effect Tommy and his gang of swindlers and spivs. We'll definitely cover that in a short moment. Although there will be a couple other topics I want to discuss as well. But I'll just finish off what I was saying about the upcoming episode with Horace. So yeah, definitely put that down in your calendars. That's going to be quite an episode. Not only that, I was having a little conversation with another YouTuber by the name of Ochiai-san. Now, some of you might know Ochiai-san. I know Streaky Bacon will know who I'm talking about because he watches his content from time to time. He's a Japanese nationalist, and he is quite... I don't know if you could say he's a fan of my work, but he does enjoy watching the show whenever he can, and I do enjoy watching his show whenever I can to see it. But him and I are in talks about him appearing on the show as well. Not entirely too sure when that will be exactly, because obviously there's a huge time difference between where I live and where he lives. He lives in Japan, of course, and I believe in Japanese time frame they're, I think, 8 hours ahead of us. So I even checked this morning. I think it was last night at midnight. So, for example, last night I checked, it was 12:38. And then over in Japanese time, it was 8:38. So it is a case of literally 8 hours ahead of us. So not entirely too sure how it's going to work. I definitely want him on, of course, but it's just be the case of the whole timing of it all. So we'll definitely see if I can get him on at some point, and then we can definitely talk from there. Because I think it'd be interesting having a perspective from a nationalist from a completely different side of the world, especially in Japan. So I'll definitely see if I can get him on at some point, and we'll definitely shall see from there. And lastly, of course, definitely can't wait to have Horace on the show, and then we'll definitely shall see with that. I'm still thinking about who else to bring on the show at some point. I really want to bring on Mark Collett on the show at some point. I know I was on his show back in, was it August or September last year? And he did say to me towards the end of the show, if you want me to come on Mood of the Nation, just give me a shout, and then we'll definitely see if we can arrange something with that. So it's been almost a year later, and there is a reason for that. There is a reason why it's been a full year later. It's mainly because I want to have him on the show, but not do the usual, how'd you get into nationalism and all of that. Kind of like how I usually act like whenever I bring a guest on, just to kind of get to know them a bit better. But in this case with Mark Collett, it's like, well, he's been around the nationalist political scene for the past, 20 or maybe almost 25 years or something like that. So definitely a long time. I think pretty much everyone from our circles, from the leftists, from SIFMAS, et cetera, definitely know who Mark Collett is, especially his time being a member of the British National Party. So I don't want to do the usual, how did you get into this, and how did this affect your life and all of that, because again, it's pretty much a cliche at this point regarding to that. So I really don't know if I really want to say it at the moment, because again, it'd be spoiling what we're going to talk about. But it's something I've been thinking about, what I wanted to talk to him about if he were to be on the show. So everyone knows his appearance on the infamous Young, Nazi and Proud documentary that was aired on Channel 4 back in 2002. I had to look into this as well for a bit of research. So what I want to do is, and I hope he'd be fine with this idea, I would like to have him on the show, and we can do and also for his perspective to talk about his experience filming the documentary, as this year would mark the documentary's 20th anniversary, I believe it is. Because like I said, it came out in 2002, of course, this year being 2022. So again, I tend to think of it more as like a 20 years later kind of retrospect kind of idea. So I don't know whether or not if maybe that might be a good idea or not. And I don't know if that'd be something he'd be in favor of. But again, I'll just ask him at some point, and then definitely shall see from there. Is Mark the leader of Patriotic Alliance? He's definitely the leader of Patriotic Alternative. I can never say that for some reason. I don't know why. But Patriotic Alliance, well, I would definitely say that's like a name that a lot of the journalists and all of that would tend to misname PA, but of course that's beside the point. Rob D is in the chat with us as well. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. Let me see. Just want to make sure if everything is fine, hunky-dory at the moment. Entropy is still working. That's fine. What about Odysee? I think there's maybe a couple people watching. I know there's a lot more people watching this show on YouTube because, of course, it's a lot more convenient for a lot of people. But I just want to double check Odysee just a short moment. And I've also noticed as well, I have garnered 189 followers on Odysee because, again, I'm trying to push Odysee as the go-to platform for me to use a lot. Yep, it's working fine on Odysee. That's a-okay. Perfect. Sorry, excuse me. And I'm pretty sure that DLive would be working as well. So that's, again, completely fine and dandy. Excellent. Now, of course, one thing I'll mention just before we move on to the first topic at hand is that, as per usual, I do make this show Simon Webb called PA Patriotic Alliance. I see. Fair enough. What I was going to say is, well, as per usual, I do make this show on a weekly basis, twice a week. And, of course, I want to go back into doing regular videos from time to time. Of course, I've got some scripts written out. And I also am working on a project at the moment that hopefully it might spawn a series of videos, not just a one video idea, but we'll definitely see with that. Just real quick, Will Martin, Kenny Hinney, and Kitchen Skillet are in the chat with us as well. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching. So yeah, with that being said, when it comes to my content, of course, if you'd like to support me financially, however amount you would like, you could always donate to me through Coffee or through PayPal directly, which the links for those will be in the description down below, both on YouTube and Odysee. And of course, if you would like to ask me questions towards the end of the show, or even putting them in just now and then I can answer them towards the end of the show, you can definitely do so with my Entropy link. And the questions themselves can be either paid or unpaid. The point is, if you'd like to ask me a question of anything at all, then just feel free to ask me through my Entropy link just now, which I'll put it in the chat just now. And hopefully people will see that at the moment. Right then, let me just have a quick drink of my juice, and then we'll get started with the first topic, which is not what you think it is at the moment. That's going to be something slightly later on. But what I will talk about is a recent article that came out by the Daily Mirror. Now, I know it's a bit of a cliche at this point, me talking about articles and all of that. I won't talk about the article too much because, again, I can imagine it's going to talk about the same drivel over and over again, PA bad, liberalism good, and all that other cringy shit. But this time, this article is pretty interesting. I know a lot of people within PA have been talking about it, but I just think it's quite funny, especially with the title of the article itself. Meme Peem is with us. How you doing, Meme Peem? Thanks very much for watching the show. Evening Troops, hope you're all well. Same to yourself, Meme Peem. Thank you very much for watching the show. Perfect. And even after the show tonight, which of course I'll go for up until 7 o'clock, and I'll definitely end the show there. After tonight's episode, I will be going out just really shortly, just so I can get something for my dinner, of course, but we'll definitely see with that. I also just double checking the connection bar. I think it's going up and down. So again, any technical issues I'm experiencing at the moment, like stuttering or any pauses or anything like that at all, I do apologize in advance. I think it's to do with my my VPN, which will definitely see if I can sort, or maybe not, and maybe I can try and look something for later on. Streaky Bacon is with us, inshallah. How you doing, Streaky Bacon? Thanks very much for watching. Real quick from Meme Peem, I'm looking forward to the Channel 4's new comedy show tomorrow night. Same with myself. I really cannot wait to watch it. Well, that being said, I know I've talked about this on the previous episode, but I won't be watching it directly on, and I'm sure you won't do the same as well, Meme Peem, but I won't be watching it on the official Channel 4 actual channel itself, because, of course, I don't want to give Channel 4 any viewership or anything like that whatsoever. Instead, I'll see if I can find another way to maybe watch the show. I think some of the people from PA are going to be talking about it on a stream or whatever. I know tomorrow with Tea Time and Sam and Laura, Mark will be appearing on their show tomorrow at 7 p.m. up until 8:30, and I know they'll be talking about the documentary as soon as it goes, before it goes live, of course, at 8:30 at night, which I really can't wait for that. I think it's going to be really, really interesting what that documentary is going to be like. Really interesting indeed. And speaking of that, even though the documentary has not come out yet, there've already been articles about some of the things that have been said within the documentary. Well, at least I got here with the Daily Mirror article. Strontium Dog's with us. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. Neil Jones. My question: when does the waffling stop? Come on, son. Oh well. Let's have a look here. We'll just get right into the first topic at hand, and I'll see if I can get to this here. So, of course, again, I know people may have seen this article already, but let's have a look at this. This is from the Daily Mirror. Now, as I said, just the title alone is quite funny, and I'll cover this in a moment. I'll just share the screen. Channel 4, white people bad. Yeah, it's pretty much Channel 4 in a nutshell, of course. But I think also Amanda Lee is with us in the chat, which, of course, if you are, thanks very much for watching. Am I sharing it? Yeah, I'm sharing it. Great. Here we go. It's this one right here by the Daily Mirror. Exclusive. Neo-Nazis entice boy 13 via YouTube memes. Now he's leading Zoomer nationalists. Now, of course, the image on the screen, as you see here, they used for this article is everyone's favorite Barclay Walsh. Now, according to this article, which was written by Amy Sharp, our favorite, now I was about to say nationalist, but she's anything but a nationalist. She's the same journalist who's been writing a lot of hit pieces about PA. I know there's other journalists here and there, but I don't even know it may be fair to say she's quite a well-known journalist who talks smack about PA. But the title alone here is pretty funny because according to Amy Sharp, when Barclay Walsh was 13 years old, now at this point in time, I've even watched a clip from Chris Dangerfield earlier on where Barclay appeared on. And at this moment in time, Barclay is 17, coming up to 18 years old. Now, this would have been, what, almost 5 years ago? And, of course, this year being 2022, so that would have been either 2017 or 2018. How can that be possible if PA, or in this case, Patriotic Alternative, first formed in 2019? I really don't know whether or not if Barclay Walsh is a secret time traveler, and we don't know about that up until this point, or it may be the case of Amy Sharp is completely thick as pig shit. I think the latter may be a lot more accurate, but of course that's beside the point, because but I think she purposely put it at that age range because it makes it sound well in terms of the typical lefty NPC, that may sound like really bad. Like, oh, they're grooming the young people nowadays. Like they're enticing them to join not just PA but any nationalist group for that matter. Which is funny because I can't remember what post I've seen this, but someone made a post about teenagers as young as that age can join Labour when they're like, what, 13 or 14 years of age. Any child at any age can be a member of the Conservative Party, but in terms of actually getting involved with the political aspect of it, they would need to be 15 years and older to participate in that. But hey, that of course what's important to note is that those are like the key difference here. Apparently, according to Amy Sharp, if that were to be brought up, is that those parties, Labour and Tories, are political establishment parties that everyone knows about, and it's completely fine for them to have young members being or gaining a membership for either political party. But suddenly, when PA does that, then we're grooming these youngsters. Apparently, it's the classic rules for thee but not for thee type of argument, of course. So let's have a quick look at this article. Again, I won't read the whole article because, again, I can imagine it would be pretty much the exact same drivel every single hit piece has said about PA. Nationalism is bad, globalism is good. Mark Collette dated someone who had a swastika tattoo, which makes her neck look like a giraffe. I don't know. It's just flat out ridiculous, of course. But let's have a quick look at this. A young generation of patriots calling themselves Zoomer nationalists is being groomed for racial hatred and possibly terror. Possibly terror. Right, the whole terrorist argument. Right, here we go. And the poster boy is just 17. Far-right group Patriotic Alternative is targeting Generation Z in search of the next wave of neo-Nazis, and it is claimed PA's rising star, Barclay Walsh, has followed the group's leader online since he was 13. Shocking footage filmed over 2 years as part of an undercover investigation alleges Walsh has been named guest of honor at PA's next conference by its leader, Mark Collette, an infamous neo-Nazi and a former youth leader of the British National Party. See, I knew they would put that in there, of course. It's not really that surprising anymore, isn't it? It's not really that surprising. The team was lured in by watching trolling reels and memes on PA's YouTube channel after a relative died. Group members blast out racist political broadcasts over shoot 'em up computer games played by other potential Zoomer nationalists. Older group members congratulate new recruits like Walsh for being arrested, handing out far-right leaflets. Fake Labour leaflets distributed in the Batley and Spend by election were planted by PA. Primary school children attended group rallies where racist terms are openly used, including one vile suggestion that footballers be shot in the head for taking the knee in support of the black community. Well, that's really funny because I've been to some of these PA nationalist events, like, of course, the recent conference back in March this year. I was at the PA Autumn Conference back in October of last year, which was the first conference I went to, by the way. And of course, even besides that, I was also at the very first PA Scotland conference that happened at the start of October. And throughout that time, and of course, I'm pretty sure I might be planning on going to the summer camp this year, but I'm not entirely too sure yet. But even if it were to go, what I've experienced during those events, I've never once ever encountered any of what was described in this article in terms of open racist terms, any like edgy or offensive like humor or anything like that at all. Nothing like that whatsoever, especially during these conferences. Never once have I ever came across that. Never once. So, because of course, PA or Patriotic Alternative, again, does have a very strong optics or a code of conduct. And the code of conduct itself is very important that everyone within PA does follow that. And if they don't follow it, then they'd be kicked out immediately. Well, I don't know if that might be the right word, immediately, but we do take the code of conduct code of conduct, sorry, very, very seriously. So, like I said again, I've never came across anything like that during those events, never once. But that's just my own perspective. I'm sure a lot of other members within PA will have very similar perspective as my own. But that, of course, that's just me with that. Moving on from there, there are even jokes, quote unquote, about the Holocaust and slurs on Jewish people. Again, me personally, I've not came across that, never once, but again, that's just me. A trainee teacher, scouts, volunteer, and law student were at one camp. Okay. The footage in a Dispatches documentary broadcast on Channel 4 tomorrow, which of course that we just talked about that just now or earlier on, will shock parents whose children could have access to PA's unregulated social media pages. Well, that's funny because again, just before the show went live tonight or this afternoon, it was the Lord Telegram, maybe someone else, I'm not entirely too sure. But basically, we've had a spike of people going on to the PA website. Not only just that, but reading articles, asking how did they become a member, and of course there seems to be a lot more interest with Patriotic Alternative after these articles and potentially the upcoming documentary, which of course will be released tomorrow night at 8:30 on Channel 4. So I think, of course, there is the old school saying or way of saying, and of course I know here in PA we say this a lot as well. Any publicity is good publicity. So you never know. Maybe with this upcoming documentary, and of course with these articles are coming out, maybe there might be a good way for people to actually take notice of PA and might actually want to become a member. We'll definitely see with that, but we're definitely getting a lot of attraction out of this. So again, if these journalists think they've done a great job of making PA look bad or anything like that at all, I think they're sorely mistaken here. Sorely mistaken here. In a video of one gathering, Walsh can be heard laughing on hidden camera footage as he boasts, "It's quite funny to think I watched a effing meme compilation, and that's what's effing led me to be at a campsite and some of the most notorious neo-Nazis in the country." Counter-extremism advisor Dame Sarah Khan warned of the youngsters being drawn into racism, violence, and even terror. Wait a minute, is this the same Sarah Khan who wanted to change the law so that everything that PA does make light about, say, demographic changes and, of course, leaflet handouts and etc., etc.? Is that the same woman who tried to ban us doing that or trying to make it illegal what we do or say? I wonder if that may be the same Sarah Khan, but maybe someone different. I don't know. But the name rings a bell. Anyway, she said, "We are increasingly seeing more young people being drawn into far-right extremism in this country. We have seen how children have gone on to commit acts of violence and in some cases been drawn into terrorism." Well, again, G. Willikers, you can almost make that same exact argument when it comes to Islamic terrorism that happens, in fact, even here in Great Britain. But no, we don't ever mention that. We just sweep that under the rug because that goes against their entire political agenda, entirely, of course. We have seen how children have. Oh, I've read it already. My apologies. Patriotic Alternative is promoting the same ideology, same dangerous anti-minority narrative as extreme right-wing terrorists. They are fundamentally creating a climate conducive to extremism and violence. Well, again, we don't ever promote anything like that. I myself and many people within PA never promote any violence or terrorism for that matter. I'm completely against that, period. I think not just a case of promoting violence or terrorism makes us look bad, but I think there's really no reason to do it. And what I mean by that is I think in order to get our message across to the general public, get ourselves out there is by speaking about the topics like demographic changes and so on and so forth. I think violence not only is it horrible and reprehensible, but I think it, of course, would make us or any nationalist group look bad. But I also would go to say that I think it would be a massive turnoff for a lot of people. I mean, just look at Antifa, for instance. I mean, which is funny because you can make that the points being made in this article about they're racist, they're horrible, they're promoting violence, they're a potential terrorism group. You can make that same exact argument when it comes to Antifa, which is, oh, well, sorry, that's right. They're more like a lefty type of organization. Sorry, my bad. I always keep forgetting that. Because It's okay when Antifa does it, but if there was a time of if PA or any nationalist group for that matter does do something like that, then we would be completely destroyed. Not to say that I would advocate for something like that. I'm just trying to make a point about the blatant double standard within our society regarding to that. Let's have a look here. And of course, you mentioned Joe Cox. What a fucking shock that is. Dame Sarah called on the government to outlaw the activity. This is the same person, yes, of hateful extremist groups like Patriotic Alternative. She added to not do so would be a big failure. Campaign group Hope Not Hate. Is anyone really that surprised they'd be featured in this? Is anyone that surprised? Warned of a rise in under 24-year-olds using memes, live streams, video games, and chat sites to spread hateful propaganda from basements and living rooms. According to Hope Not Hate, Zoomer nationalists feel older extremists have failed to establish far-right ideas as the norm in society. The new generation is said to favor a hysterical, over-the-top form of activism. Vile tactics include dressing in Nazi garb or wearing blackface to shock unsuspected strangers who log on to chat sites, then filming their reaction to use as promotional material. Well, again, I've not seen anyone from the British nationalism do that. Never seen one. I've not seen Barclay do that. I've not seen Harry or True K ever doing that. I've never seen. I think I can imagine they're taking stuff that's from the American side of nationalism. You know, of course, the American nationalists. Not all of them, but some of them do that. You know, mainly for shock value and all of that. I think that they're using that and trying to paint a picture as well. The British nationalists, all like say members like PA would do something like that as well. It's like no, we don't do anything like that. Well, for one thing, it would be again, it's really bad optics, and of course, it would be absolutely retarded for one of us to do something like that because again, we don't want to make ourselves look bad. And second of all, what's even the point? Again, I would say that would be a massive turnoff for your like the normal or the normie type of person within society. But anyway, how far we got? I'll finish off maybe up till here, and then of course we'll move on from there with that. Let me see here. Patrick Hermanson, senior researcher for Hope Not Hate, said Walsh was among younger activists invited by PA to speak for an hour on a weekly Zoomer night live stream. Mr. Hermanson said people have moved from Zoomer nationalist communities into patriotic alternatives specifically. Barclay Walsh is very much one of them, whereas once you would have to travel, pay money and get out of your house to get involved. Online, you have a much better chance of taking up the movement and playing this much more major role. It's a growing audience for the movement. I think, well, there's a lot more to the article, but I think I might want to really maybe move on from there, because I mean, even just seeing this part here, it talks about how this is another way they're trying to groom the youth, so to speak, by having live streams of them playing Call of Duty Warzone and all of that, and this seems to be enticing younglings to become neo-Nazis or some gay shit like that, which it's funny because, first of all, Call of Duty, not just Warzone, but the entire franchise as a whole, is supposed to be aged up to 15. Or I think the more recent games that came out are meant to be for 18 plus. So that argument in terms of children are being enticed to play Call of Duty is completely false. I think to be quite honest with you, any child who plays under the age of 18 who plays Call of Duty, I think have really bad parents or irresponsible parents, and they should be called out for it. But again, this whole argument, again, it goes back to the whole rules for thee but not for thee, because again, everything that they're accusing PA of doing, you can make the same argument that they themselves and the establishment are doing to our younger our generation nowadays, especially going through schools. And I know this is not like a very original point to make, but looking at today's school system, where most of our white children are being taught to hate themselves, to be ashamed of themselves, their history and their culture. But no, that's not even just that, but teaching them all kinds of degeneracy, like of course the LGBT stuff, and teaching them about like anal sex and all of that at such a young age. I know up here in Scotland, and something I talked about previously. I know up here in Scotland, in with the school system, or the Scottish school system, the SNP want to introduce in some places in Scotland of asking teenagers from S4 to S6, which, if I remember correctly, that age range is around 14, maybe 15 up until 17 or 18, I think, give or take. Basically asking them very intrusive, very personal questions like, have you ever tried anal sex with your partner or multiple partners, etc., etc. Why would you want to ask such evasive questions to children or teenagers as young as that? I really don't know. But again, according to the establishment and the mainstream press, that's completely fine. You can do that. You can ask them invasive questions. You can ask them all kinds of degenerate shit. That's completely fine. That's not grooming. But then PA wanted to do a live stream of playing Call of Duty and wanting their members to participate. Oh no, that's horrible. They're trying to indoctrinate the youth of today. Like, what horrible monsters. You can't make this shit up. You really cannot make this stuff up whatsoever. But yeah, I think I'll just end the article right there, because again, I know there's a lot more, but I'm sure all the stuff that's mentioned here in the article, would all be mentioned in tomorrow's documentary dispatch episode on Channel 4. If I'd even mentioned that during the article just now. And what we'll do is, if you're interested, again, I know people might have read this already, but just in case if people have not read the article, I'll post it in the chat just now, so you yourselves can have a read yourselves, whether it be now or later on if you want to, and see from there. Of course, I'll also post this in the Odysee chat as well, just in case. Let me have a quick look here, so just bear with me a moment. Right, let's have a look here and see. 7 people watching Odysee. That's pretty decent. Well said, Chief. Oh, there's Arbiter in the Odysee chat. Hello, Arbiter. Thanks very much for watching. Yeah, I only have the sorry, excuse me. I only have the YouTube chat opened. I don't want to open up the Odysee chat a lot during the stream, because again, maybe that might also affect the connection problems. But anyway, that's of course just being said with that here. DLive, I'll just post that in the chat as well, just in case if someone on DLive is watching. I think there's one viewer on DLive, which, I mean, fair enough. I'll post that in the chat just now, and then we'll see with that. Perfect. All right, that's that. Excellent. Close that. I don't really need that anymore. Excellent. Okay. The media are scum. They are scum. Well, they are absolutely scum. There's Joe Marsh in the chat. How you doing, Joe? Thanks very much for watching. They know who it was. It was one guy at John, Powell. Oh, he's responding to one of the users on the chat. Speaking of which, John, Powell, MBE, thanks very much for watching the show. Greatly appreciate being here. Exile Viking, the Nazis I know of and in great abundance are the far left scumbags, including SNP, cultists, Antifa, refugees, welcome crowd. Well, I wouldn't go as far as calling them Nazis or fascists anyway. I would say the correct terminology to call them would be globalists or even communists, or in fact, no, maybe even more than that. I would say anti-white, the anti-white crowd. I would say that's probably the best term to call them. Again, SNP and all of that. COD has always been 18 plus. Well, from my recollection, Kerr, from my experience with playing the old school Call of Duty games, there was an old age range system. I think it was the BBFC. I know this is a bit of a minor point, but I'll mention this just now. It used to be rated 15 BBFC, because they didn't really use the PEGI rating system, what we have over here, a lot, but they did use it a lot more, like maybe towards the early 2010s, if I'm not mistaken. But at the time, Call of Duty was for 15 and up, and I think the first Call of Duty game that received an 18 certification, I think it was Call of Duty Black Ops, if I'm not mistaken. The first one, maybe that, or maybe even Black Ops 2. I'm not entirely too sure, but I think it was one of the two that for the first time received an 18 rating. But anyway, so that's, of course, just made that point. Let's have a look here and see. That's fine. Perfect. All right. The globalist agenda wants to promote nonsense. Well, I mean, especially at this stage, yeah, I would definitely buy that. Joe Marsh, the minute they get into positions of power, they start trying to get revenge on Whitey. Yes, in fact, as a matter of fact, just to mention real quick, the recent local elections that came and passed, I know in Glasgow, especially the SNP promoted the first ever refugee, what was it they called it? The first refugee, basically, well, like the first ever refugee that came to Scotland, more specifically Glasgow, won the local elections this year. And of course, they boasted about the idea of, oh, this is such a great progression within our society that the first ever refugee to become a winner for the local elections. It's like, really? It's like, are you really gonna make that point? Like, okay, I am sure that's going to win a lot of the support for the Scottish people. Oh, speaking of which, there's actually something I want to show you guys. This is something I found. Where was it? I found this. Was it Twitter or Telegram? Hold on, let me see if I can actually. What I'll do first is I'll post it on my Telegram, and then I'll see if I can share it on the screen real quick. Where is it? I did save it. There it is. Have a look here. Now, I don't know if this might be accurate or not, but I thought this was quite interesting to say the least. None of the mainstream press will ever point this out, but I think it's interesting to have a look at this nonetheless. And this is from this year. This is early this year. Let me see if I can quickly find it here. Right, I've joined them. I don't want to. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, no worries. Get that up here. Right, now I'll just share the screen real quick and I'll show you guys what I'm on about. Let's have a look here. Fair enough, you're a bit older than I mean. Oh, fair enough, Kurt. Fair enough. Resisting the Lies is in the chat with us. How you doing, sir? Thanks very much for watching the show. I may be Resisting the Lies if you can also back me up with this as well, because this was something I found, like I said, either on Twitter or Telegram. Now, this is the results from the Scottish local elections of 2022. Now, first preference leader, of course, as highlighted blue, Conservative, Green Party, white or silver, Independent, Labour, red, etc., etc. I don't know if it might be coming clear on the screen, but you can definitely see that there's definitely a lot more Tory vote within Scotland. There's a lot more independent vote within Scotland. Basically, what the basic gist is, the SNP are slowly but surely losing support, which I think is a bit of a white pilling moment here. Now, I really do hope this is an accurate source here, because I've never seen this from the mainstream press here in Scotland whatsoever. And I really hope this is pretty accurate for this year's results for the local Scottish elections. I'm curious, like, more specific. Well, I know some. I think it's the Central Scotland. I think it would be about here. I mean, yeah, still very SNP. I mean, it's not really that much of a surprise at this point, but it's very surprising that a lot more people are voting independent candidates. Yeah, there may be also a lot more Tory support, but I think that's more of a response to the liberalism, of course, globalism type of agenda that the SNP want to keep promoting, of course. And you can definitely see that not a lot of people support Labour. I mean, maybe some areas, but it's like minuscule compared to independent, the Tories. And of course, you can maybe even see, the SNP and whatnot. Uncontested, which is these areas here, and I think the 3 orange for Lib Dems, which, I mean, look, why the fuck would you vote for the Liberal Democrats? It boggles the mind. That really does boggle the mind. Anyway, let's have a look here. Back to this real quick. Again, just checking the bar, and I think it's still okay for my connection, but again, I'll still keep an eye on it. Anyway, Joe Marshall quit. We are trained ninjas. We just keep it on the down low. Excellent. The SNP and Greens gain seats. Shit. Well, Oh dear. Labour and Lib Dem made gains though. Okay, fair enough. Tories lost a rake of seats, mate. Fuck. Okay, so maybe that image might not be as accurate. I just thought it'd be interesting to maybe make a point about that because again, not too sure where I've seen it from, but I had to look at it and I thought, well, I hope it's accurate. Maybe I can show this on the future episode, which in this case would be tonight, and of course let you guys be the judges of that. Abdul Bostani, hope I pronounced that right. A refugee also got elected for the SNP. Pretty sure, God. So that's just such a really a blatant attempt to replace the Scottish people. So let's just bring all these foreigners in, and it doesn't matter how long they've lived here. As long as you come to the country, you're Scottish now. Apparently, you can participate in the Scottish elections. It's like, no, it shouldn't work like that. Like, I mean, we all know why exactly why Sturgeon would support something like that. But anyway, COD is gay. Fallout 4 is the uh, practitioner's choice of game. I hope that's the right word for me to pronounce it. But see, to be honest with you, Mean Peem, I try to get into the Fallout games. I mean, the only Fallout game I've ever played, well, the two are Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. I never played New Vegas, so I can't really make a comment about that. But even then, I can never really get into those games quite well. But what's weird about that is I played some of the Elder Scrolls games, I think they're called. The fourth one being Oblivion, and the fifth one, of course, the most re-released title of them was Skyrim. And I remember, like, I was quite into Skyrim at the time, which I don't know why, because it was made by the same developer of for the Fallout games, or the more modern Fallout games. It's kind of like with the Dark Souls games, where the Dark Souls games, I do like, but I can never really properly get myself really into them. But when it comes to a game they also made called Bloodborne, I absolutely love that game. And it's bizarre because, again, it was made by the same developer, so why would I prefer that game over these series of games? I don't know. It's really weird but really bizarre that. But anyway, I'll move on from there. So imported votes. Yes, that sums it up very well when it comes to these refugees. Fallout 4 is the worst Bethesda Fallout. Well, I think, to be quite fair, and I've not played this game because this came out after Fallout 4. It was the MMORPG. I think it was Fallout 1776. If I'm not, no, wait. What was the one that came out and everyone absolutely hated it because of how glitchy it was? What was the name of it? Wait a minute. I'm gonna have a quick look here. Fallout. It's an online game. Fallout 76. That's it. Yeah, I remember when that game came out. Um, a lot of people were just absolutely pissed off with it because, I mean, it came out glitchy. It was buggy all over the place, and the whole excuse from Bethesda was, well, it's Fallout. People are gonna play them or buy it and play it regardless because it's gonna be really huge and popular. It's like, well, do you not think you could take the time to maybe like work and improve upon it? But I guess not. They only care about the shackles at this point. But anyway, yes, Kurt, I agree. Just going back to your comment real quick. The Yakuza games are pretty good. The only ones I've played were Yakuza 3. I've played Yakuza 0 because that's supposed to be the prequel of the series. So a lot of people would say, well, if you want to get into Yakuza, then just play Yakuza 0 as a starting off point, and then just work on from there. I still haven't beaten the game, so I don't know if there's ever time I'll have any time, because of course I'm working. I'm also working on Mood of the Nation and future episodes for videos. If I have enough time one day, I'll probably maybe give it another bash and then see from there, but we'll definitely see with that. There was also a spin-off game that I was quite into because I'm a fan of this series. It's called Fist of the North Star Paradise Lost, I think it was called. Really excellent game. I mean, it was basically Fist of the North Star crosses with the Yakuza games, put them together, and of course you get Paradise Lost, which I thought was excellent because, of course, I know anime and manga gets quite a bad rep because of some of the materials produced are quite degenerate, to say the least, but I think there are legitimately good series out there, like manga and anime, like Berserk being one of them, and in this case, Fist of the North Star is my personal favorite, but that's, of course, me in regard to that. Anyway, I'll move on from there. So, the S&P are just like Labour, but hate the white English a bit more. Yep, definitely true with that. Right then, I think one of my neighbors is a jockey and deals in oh, I think it's maybe cannabis. I hope that's right. I don't know, but I've reported him to the police several times, and they do nothing. All I was asked if he was selling to minors. Pathetic sellout. Ah, right. Let's see. You can like certain series without liking the gen culture based around it. That's fair enough, Rick and Morris. That's definitely fair. Dying Light 2 is the only game I've bought in a while on, and it's banging, man. Well, you know, I've actually I've played it not too long ago because I bought that as well because I remember I played the first game and I absolutely loved that game. I remember back when it first came out, I spent hours upon hours of playing Dying Light. I absolutely loved it. It was basically it's a game what Dead Island should have been, like just absolutely spectacular. And then when I heard about the second game coming out, which took what was it 7 or 8 years later or something like that. Of course, it took a long time, but I remember playing that, and yeah, there are certain aspects about Dying Light 2 I thought were better than the first game. But then there's some aspects of it, like some like gameplay and all of that, or just, some slight changes. I'm just like, but why would you change that when it worked normal and it was fine when it for the original game? But I don't know. So but that's just me with that. The police are not interested in normal policing duties like arresting drug dealers. They are political enforcers now. Yeah, pretty much, Joe. I do definitely agree with that. And lastly, from English Rose, the last time I played a video game, my brother took the controller and said, "Just stick to dancing." Oh dear. uh, there is the old saying, a more recent saying like "get good," which I think is a meme for within the Dark Souls community. If I'm not sorry, excuse me, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I'll move on from there with that. Right. I actually cannot believe that the time it is. It takes a while to get into, to be fair. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Resisting the lies. Definitely true with that. Anyway, I'll move on from there to the main topic tonight, which I think, don't know how long it will take me, but I don't think it might take too long because, I mean, there's really not really much to go over regarding to this topic. But since it's 6 o'clock at the moment, let's just get right into it, shall we? Right then. So let me see if I can get up Telegram again. I won't share the screen this time around because, well, there's not really any particular reason. It's just because I just want to keep it on the screen at the moment. Because again, I think it's to do with the connection as I keep seeing the bar. So hopefully it won't affect this part here. If it restarts, or well, not restarts, but if it reloads the page or anything like that, that'll be that'll be why. Or if I'm gone, that'll be why. But let me see if I can get this up real quick. Right, hold on a sec. This one, right? Okay, so here's is a post from Patriarchal Alternative West Midlands. This was yesterday during the Telford demo. Let's have a look at this real quick. Today in Telford, we attended Tommy Robinson's demonstration in protest of the grooming gang epidemic that has plagued our country. Tommy Robinson, now that name rings a bell. Definitely rings a bell. And I think people have been talking about this throughout the stream, especially at the start of the show tonight, but just continuing from there. However, things took an unexpected turn. Tommy and his supporters managed to attack their patriotic allies and stole PA's property. Bizarrely, accusations of Nazi and Antifa were used against us simultaneously. Make up your mind. Patriotic Alternative offers a real-world solution, one that's based on building local communities that can collectively support and stand up for our people. If it's this bad now, imagine how much worse it will be in 40 years when the Indigenous Britons are a minority. Videos coming soon. Now, as from the West Midlands branch of PA, I don't know if they were the only branch or if any other branches were with them, like Yorkshire or anything like that at all. But I think they were the only branch that went. Maybe some of the other branches went with them. I don't know, but I think this is a really good thing what they did here yesterday. Trying to do a bit of unity a little bit, because I think we can all agree with the grooming gang scandal, as I talked about previously on the show. What happened to the white working class girls was just awful, absolutely horrendous, and I think it's something that was hidden to the general public for many years, and it's something that needs to be called out. Definitely needs a lot of fixing regarding to that. So you think maybe, okay, the Tommy cards might not agree with our own political views or anything like that, but you think for this case that maybe, just maybe, for once, that they can maybe brush aside any petty differences and maybe work together as we do have a shared like common with this topic of the whole grooming gang scandal. But of course not. That's really not to be the case. Instead of that, Tommy Sheckelstein, or sorry, Tommy Robinson, and of course his gang of goons, or as I would prefer to call them, the North FC meme in real life, decided to act like a bunch of douchebags and calling them Nazis and Antifa. Which, of course, yeah, that will definitely not start any like ruckus or a riot or anything like that at all. Basically telling them they're not welcome there. They have no place to be there, with spreading their Nazi vitriolic worldview or something like that, and just decide to do that instead. I don't. I find that, yeah, there should be clips I think I have here we can maybe showcase as examples. Here's one clip. I believe Toby Radley showed me earlier on my Telegram page. Just real quick, if I can get this up here. Well, it was a YouTube link, but that'll be a lot easier for me. Excellent. Let's have a look here and see. And this part here, I'll quickly pause the video in a moment, and we shall see from there. So let's have a look. Oh, crap. Here we go. Let's see if I can get my earphones in. Let's have a look at this here. Right. Okay, then. So what I'll do is quickly share the stream. Again, I won't talk much about this. I'll just be quite brief about it. So let's have a look at this together. So this video, again, was sent to me by Toby Radley. Thank you very much, Toby. I greatly appreciate that. And let's have a look at this together. So 3, 2, 1.
Freedom. People say, even about immigration, people think I'm against immigration. I'd open the British Embassy tomorrow in Saudi Arabia and I'd let every woman leave. Let them all come over and leave every Muslim man scratching his head going, what's going on? Well, you lot are acting like cavemen. Yeah? Yeah. So that's why the women are leaving you. Right? The only reason why they can't leave, and the only reason why Islam still grows in number, is because it's punishable by death, even today. If you leave Islam, you're killed. Yeah, that is why. So Muslims, I don't hate Muslims, and you know what? There's so many Muslims who grew up near Luton who know that, yeah? Who have a very good relationship with me.
Right, Tommy, my final question.
So just real quick, just from that part just now, apparently Tommy Five Names, or Tommy Robinson, or Sheckelstein, whatever you want to call him, is in favor of open borders at this point. Which really is bizarre, because last time I checked, I thought he was a nationalist. I thought he was for the British people and of course black and, well, that's not really national, black and white unite. But anyway, I thought he was a nationalist. Why would he be in favor, in this case, open borders for Saudi Arabia, and want to bring in the women from that country over here in Britain? Really makes you think, doesn't it? Really makes you think. Yeah, so this would be the part where they're approaching the PA members at this point here. So let's have a look at this real quick.
Are you from PA? Yes. You're not welcome here. You're not welcome here, lad. We don't want you here. Right? So don't come here. Take your fucking Nazi bullshit. Don't leave it. Go away, you're embarrassing. Take your mask down. You've got mask on because you're embarrassed. Why are you wearing a fucking mask? You've got mask on because you're embarrassed what you fucking stand for. You fucking Nazi fuck out of our fucking place. You're there for the wrong fucking reason. That's fuck over.
Go away.
You're not welcome here.
Fuck women games.
You're not welcome here.
You're
Nazi bullshit. Fuck off. You're not welcome here. Where is it? You fucking Nazi woman. Where's the fucking flag? Take that flag off your fucking face. You don't even deserve it. Fuck off.
Oh yeah, so this part here, you won't probably wonder what happened with this area here. It was mentioned by a lot of the people within PA. I know Laura talked about this as well, but basically, some of the lads who went to this demo had brought PA flags with them and banners, all of that. These complete thugs tried to take the flags and banners off them. I don't know why, because it was even the point, but I guess they were trying to start a scruffle, at least giving them an excuse to start a fight and all of that. And then, of course, we get to this part here. Did you catch that? One of the lassies there would shout Antifa, because again, like I said, that's not going to start a riot or anything like that at all. They were clearly not Antifa. The only reason why they were making that point because they were wearing the face mask, that obviously to hide, well, to cover themselves. But anyway, let's just continue on from there. So. So, which is gather the brilliant intelligence from these Tommy Tards, right? We've just seen earlier on in this video, we've just established that Tommy himself approached the lads and asked them, "Are you Patriarch Alternative? Are you PA?" And all of that, telling them that they're welcome here, and so on and so forth. So even with that being established, they still shouted Antifa as a way to try and justify like trying to assault them or whatever. You can't make this stuff up, can you? You really cannot make this up. Let's see if I can maybe skip a bit. This is them. So this part here, of course, if people haven't seen the video, they're basically walking up to the lads, again, trying to start a scuffle and all of that. So that's the whole point of this part here. So, but I mean, yeah, talk about fucking embarrassing this is. And these are supposed to be nationalists. Like these lots here, these Tommy Tards. What a complete fucking embarrassment. It really is no wonder that Mark or Laura or anyone from PA would always make a point about we really don't want that guy to be a member of PA. And of course, this is a prime example of that. Complete, utter fucking idiots. Well, I say that because I think it's a bit unfair to paint them on in the brush, because what I've seen from posts like here and there on Telegram and all of that, I do think there are some Tommy Robinson supporters who really do have like their hearts are in the right place and genuinely want to see a change going on within this country, and like a proper change, and really want to bring down the system and all of that. But in this case, there are some Tommy Robinson supporters, or really, let's be honest, Tommy Tards, who are just complete fucking thugs. And you can clearly tell, even from this clip here, that they're only there just to start a fight. That's pretty much why they're there to begin with. There was a post, I think, can't remember who posted it, whether it be Sam or anyone else from PA, talked about after this whole thing happened, they went to like a local pub, or maybe it was slightly before. One of the guys come out of the pub and basically asked them, "Are you guys from like PA and all of that?" And the guys were like, "Yes, we're Patriarch Alternative." And the guy who came out of the bar was like, "Oh, sorry about what happened earlier on. We thought you were like Antifa or anything like that at all." And basically said it was talking smack about Tommy. Like, he really does not like Tommy whatsoever. Which, I mean, again, what does that tell you at this point? That even some members within the Tommy Robinson movement, or any that whatsoever, who claims to support Tommy Robinson, even they're not a fan of him at this point. They're not a fan of him. I mean, what does that even tell you exactly? This whole SIFNAT movement, not only has it completely fallen apart, but it's done. It's finished. There really is no point of it's like this whole movement, like the SIFNATs or the Tommy Tars, whatever you want to call them. At this point, it's basically a corpse, like a dead man walking type of idea. It's completely dead, but for some odd reason, it's still going to this very day. Because you could even make a point about that they're basically the definition of gatekeepers. They know for a fact groups like PA and any nationalists, like true, real nationalist groups existing today here in Britain, actually do want to see change going on within the country and actually want to make a difference. And they see groups like us and they think, oh shit, if they get more successful and more publicity and all of that, then their opinions, their ideas are going to be the public norm at some point in the near future. And of course, they don't want that to happen, which is why they're still existing as the gatekeepers to all of that. I even want to also make a point about that as well. In this case, let's be brutally honest here. If these so-called nationalists, the Tommy Tards, if they really want to see a change going on within the country, they would actually point out the real problems that we're facing today. Like in this case, why don't they actually ever talk about the people who are actually bringing in these foreigners into Great Britain? Probably because their bosses are those same types of people, the small hats. And if they actually were to call them out for who they were and what they're actually doing, then we would actually definitely see some change going on. And then at that point, to them, they would no longer be relevant anymore. Their job's done. So what's even the point of continuing on? So in order to avoid that and still maintain relevance and still collecting more shekels, they decide to be, as I said, the gatekeeper and not want groups like PA or any nationalist group for that matter to gain any support or attraction to the general public. But that's just my point with that in this case. So.
We go that way. We're here for that, not this. Go that way. Go that way. We're here for that, not this.
Right. Now I want to get to a point where Tommy comes back in and makes a point about what earlier on with the PA lads. Let's have a look here. Wait, does someone have a Trump? Oh, Jesus. I think it's this part here. We'll just let it play and then see from here. I think it's this part here.
Testing. Tommy, what do you have to say about what you've just witnessed?
That's the far right. Yeah, that's a group called Patriarch Alternative who are scumbags. Yeah.
Oh.
They might.
Yeah, we're scumbags because we're actually the ones who are calling out the bullshit for what it is and actually want to see a change. We're also scumbags because we make that point across by going out doing banner drops, leaflets, etc., etc. Not only that, but we actually do some proper like community building, which is actually like doing letter picks, and also what the Northeast branch are doing, which is the homelessness initiative, I think it's called. Where basically they would help, and this is something I mentioned on the previous episode. They would help out the homeless within the northeast of England, I think. But the whole point of that, they do help them out regardless. So I wonder, I'm actually curious, has anyone from the Tommy Robinson movement or Tommy Robinson himself has ever done anything like that at all? I highly doubt that. I highly, highly doubt that. As long as well, put it this way, folks, if he does that and he doesn't receive shekels or cocaine or prostitutes, then he'll be like, well, fuck that. What's even the point of even doing that whatsoever? But hey,
They are the Nazis. Yeah? They are, you know, what all people might think I am. That's them. Yeah? And they've never been welcome from day dot. We've fought running battles with them for years. We've done more to battle the far right than anyone's done in this country. Anyone. And we've done more to break race barriers than anyone's done in this country. We've educated people en masse. We had Sikh leadership. We had in every single demonstration to let people know that patriotism ain't that. And how dare they turn up with the Union flag over their faces?
yeah, but I actually want to make a point real quick to response to Tommy Sheckelstein here. He is right in saying that he's not far right, and groups like us are like the far right or the distant right, whatever you want to call it. He is right in saying that. You know what Tommy Robinson and his ilk really are? They're basically liberals who just hate Muslims. That's it. That's literally them in a nutshell. Everything that he stands for, everything what he said just now, how here in Great Britain we broke all the racial barriers and all of that, like the whole fucking black and white unite cringy shit that was going on a year or 2 years ago. Which, by the way, Tommy, I just have something to break to you. I want to be the first to pop that fucking bubble and send you hurtling back to reality. Because everything that you stand for, everything that you've just said in that clip, how you're breaking barriers and all that gay shit, is exactly what the left want. So honestly, Tommy, how are you or anyone from your side of the fence, the center right or the centrist, wherever you want to go by, how are you any different than groups like Hope Not Hate or Stand Up to Racism or anything like that? There's no clear difference. You're basically exactly the same, except you and your ilk, you just hate fucking Muslims. Like that's pretty much sums you up in a nutshell. I'll just play this a little bit more and then we'll move on from there. So.
Least of all, when nothing they represent is about that flag. So yeah, they're not welcome. But then the headlines, you see what happens there. The headlines. Watch the local headlines in this story.
I've got it all on film.
But watch the local headlines. The local headlines will say that the far right fought against each other. Yeah? These are ordinary people who despise them. These are ordinary people who want to have a patriotic voice without them mugs thinking they can turn up. Yeah? They're not welcome at all. They never have been. So yeah.
Thank you, sir. I did warn you I'm going to stick to you like glue and interview you when I...
What? So not even like a conversation, Tommy. Like even just like a sit-down conversation with Mark or Laura or anyone from PA who are capable of maybe bringing our opinions across. Because I thought this is the funny thing with that. Again, going back a few years ago with this same out, they're the same exact people who are pro free speech and all of that. As a matter of fact, if you all remember back in 2017 or 2018, they held an event called a Day for Freedom that was held in London. You all remember that? And this was supposed to be this whole big spiel about we're for free speech. Oh man, we get such a huge boner for free speech. I love my free speech. But then when it comes to groups like us or even who was the guy who was still at that event? It was a Muslim fellow. Ali Dawah, I think it was. Now, he has said some pretty questionable shit in the past. But the whole point of the whole Day for Freedom event was meant to be about free speech. Now, you think that they would be for free speech for anyone coming up, but of course not. They don't really give a fuck. They only care about their speech. When it comes to anyone else, like, say, us, for instance, they say, well, fuck you lot. You deserve to be deplatformed or arrested or anything like that at all because your ideas are just horrible and abhorrent. Well, honestly, Tommy, if you think our opinions are so horrible and wrong or even abhorrent for that matter, surely it must be easy for you and or your ilk to refute us, right? I mean, after all, you would say that we're horrible and we're the most reprehensible people on the planet. Want to engage in a conversation or even talk to us or maybe debate us. Surely it must be easy for you to do that. Surely not. But then of course it goes back to the idea that he knows and his ilk know damn fucking well that if he actually were to sit down and talk to someone from our side and actually let us get our points across, there may be a strong possibility that some of his members or maybe the normal general public might listen to our true ideas and may think, oh, actually, I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, at first I thought they were horrible, reprehensible people, racist and whatnot. But actually, everything they said just now, I agree with that. Surprisingly, yeah. And then of course they would move over to our side, and they know this. They fucking know it well and dandy. I remember one time there was a stream I watched where I think Natty and Charlie Big Potatoes were on during the stream, and they were watching another Sifnat show on YouTube called The Voice of Wales. I think it's something myself and Joe slightly talked about on one episode. But The Voice of Wales, there was a lot of groping in the chat. A lot of people were mentioning, PA or Patriarchal Alternative and all of that. The Voice of Wales chaps decided to look at the website. They got to the point of the manifesto and never once read out the manifesto. Not once have they read it out. I really wonder why that is. I mean, because again, with people like these Sipnats and these lefty types and all of that, if our ideas are so horrible and wrong, surely it must be easy for them to refute us. But instead, they don't ever do that because they know damn well that people would actually agree with our ideas. Our ideas are the most commonsensical ideas. Everyone, again, your general normie person on the street, if they were to sit down and actually read the manifesto or listen to our opinions and ideas, they would actually be in support of that because, again, it makes a lot of sense. And they know this. They know this damn well.
Ken, street mate.
I think that would be.
My word, what did we see there?
Oh.
We saw Tommy Robinson point out there was 5 or 6 people in a group, and he points them out and says, "Are you patriotic alternative?" They reply, "Yes." Then he starts calling them Nazis. They're not welcome here. Richard Inman appears out of nowhere and says, "Get on your way, you effing Nazis." Nazis, by the way, is the name of a political party in Germany from the 1940s, which no longer exists. This is just a slur word that is thrown at people who are concerned about immigration and the far right tag as well. These are leftist slurs.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Tony Robinson at the start of the video saying he's pro-immigration from Saudi Arabia. He'd welcome all the Saudi Arabian women into our country. So I'm thinking to myself, wow. I mean, he's recently joined Emily Waters for Britain, and she is, I know for a fact, she's still on the left, and she's the same. She's not bothered about mass immigration into the country. She's only bothered about Islam, the religion of Islam. But yeah, what we saw there, Tommy Robinson knew full well. He asked them, "Are you patriotic alternative?" He did it quite loudly. He told them to F off, called them Nazis. He knew full well what the reaction of the crowd would be. And we saw the crowd turn into violence. And in this video, these people from Patriotic Alternative didn't seem to be causing any aggro. They were just stood there, minding their own business. They were probably going to support the video that is produced. And then we see this. Now, Tommy Robinson don't like being called a thug, but I mean, this, you really need to look at optics because this was thug-like behaviour.
Yeah.
Orchestrated by you, Tommy Robinson.
Yeah, I agree. I'll just stop the video there because, again, I don't want to take away this channel's viewership. In fact, what I'll do is a great video from, what's the name of the channel? Hold on. Freedom for Britain, yeah. And everything he said at this point, yeah, definitely true. The optics at that part, absolutely atrocious. Absolutely fucking shameful. And again, these are supposed to be nationalists. Absolutely shameful. What I will do, folks, is let me have a look here and post that video in the chat. If you're interested, maybe give that video a like as well, and maybe sub to the channels as well, and maybe also write a comment down below as well, because I think everything the guy said there was absolutely very true. The optics is terrible. Everything what Tommy did during that is exactly what an Antifa member would do. Exactly. So there's really no difference between the Tommy Tars and any leftist douchebag for that matter. So kosher Tommy. Like Moody stream, then like that video, guys. Definitely true, Kerr. Thank you very much for that. Greatly appreciate that. Joe Marsh, she's only worried about Islam as she knows they threw her off. Dear. That's that's Joe Marsh, everybody. Very blunt but very honest. Dear. English Rose, very true and saying, it seems he prefers to throw punches than debate, usually a sign that they have no valid position. Exactly that. Voice of Wales are sitting at twats. Yeah, there we go. He doesn't want to solve the problem. He just wants to point at the problems without offering solutions. Yes, exactly that. There's no end game, just continuing the same way. Exactly that. Liar pants are fired, Tommy Boy. Why does he care about the media? Says, well, because you could say he kind of works for the media. I mean, I don't know if this might be a person or a company he works with, like Tel Aviv. You can maybe say that they pretty much somewhat have connections to the media. But anyway, let's have a look here. P are getting the majority of support on Twitter. Yep, definitely. He is a disgusting little goblin. I was told Tommy was a liar. Now I know it to be true. Well, from that video clip there, absolutely. What has Tommy ever done for the victims of grooming gangs? Here's an answer to that, Aunt Sally. Nothing. In fact, you could even say he has done one thing. He's basically garnered shekels after basically parading them like a bunch of like purse puppies, and then he can make money off of them. That's what he's done to the victims of the grooming gangs. This is just a final point I want to make about this, because his whole demos of going around from place to place around the UK, well, more specifically, the like places like Telford and all the other, I think Romford, any other places that have been affected by the grooming gang scandal, he doesn't give a fuck. He clearly doesn't care about the victims of the grooming gangs, because if he actually did give a shit, he would actually be on our side and wanting to close all the borders and send all the people who have committed these horrible atrocities, actually send them back to their native homelands. But he doesn't do that because, again, it seems to me, and of course to a lot of other people, he seems to care more about the symptom of the problem rather than the actual problem itself. So he says, well, it's Islam. Islam is the problem here. But it's like, right, but who are the ones who are actually bringing these foreigners into the country to begin with? Oh, well, we can't say that because that would be very anti-Semitic now, wouldn't it? So, yeah. What has Tommy ever done? I've read the comment out by Sally, no worries. Base Moody, thank you very much, Meme Beam. Oh my god, how dare he? I love this bit, a lot of copium on his part. Let's see here. VM in the chat real quick. You should try Elden Ring if you liked Bloodborne. I've seen gameplay of it like from here and there, and yeah, maybe one day I'll if I have enough time at some point, maybe I'll give it a back, but we'll see. Let me see here. Is he still pushing the whole Football Lads Alliance thing? Also, low at his Getter t-shirt. Yeah, I know, that's just cringy as fuck. Because Tommy, like all the similar Sith Nats are on Getter, and Getter is supposed to be the based free speech platform, despite the fact it's been confirmed to be a fucking honeypot. But that's beside the point. And a lot, of course, one thing as well is a lot of the users for Getter are also using other platforms like what's the I've even shared on my Telegram page as well. What's the gay equivalent to Tinder? It's not Bumble. I think that's maybe something completely different. I don't know, but basically the users of Getter also use that app as well, which I mean, it's really makes you think, doesn't it? Really makes you think. Danny Tomo left recently as he's about to be outed for trying it on with one of the victims. Word on the street. Oh dear. Grinder, that's the name of it. Yeah, the gay Tinder. Yeah. A lot of users of Getter also use the app Grinder, which again really makes you think, doesn't it? Really makes you think. But that's quite damning. That if Danny Tomo did that to one of the victims, if that is true, as Joe would point out in the chat, it's word on the street type of idea. If that is true, then that's fucked. That's truly really fucked on Danny Tomo's part. It really is. If Tom had any decency about him, he'd have allied with PA to work together. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. Yeah, if he maybe had better optics about himself and maybe some of his members, then maybe there would be some kind of like alliance type of thing. But alas, he sold his soul to the devil, so to speak. The devil in this case would be Tel Aviv, or let's be honest here, Israel. But that's beside the point. Let's see here. Just have a look through entropy, but nothing's come through in terms of questions, which I mean is completely fine. Let me see here. The Danny Tomo thing is from a good source. Very fair enough. Everyone's talking about Danny Tomo now. So Danny Tomo is a nasty little piece with a big mouth. I have met him. I've only came to know of Danny Tomo fairly recently. Actually, when I first got into patriarchal alternative, or even ethno-nationalism to begin with, because I know Tommy Robinson, I think maybe some other members like Carl Benjamin or Sergeant McCann, that type of thing. Danny Tomo came to my attention mainly, I think, around about 2020, I think. But anyway, that's the point with that. It's 6:30. Half an hour to go for the show. Excellent. The devil is the one paying the highest amount of shekels. Oh, there we go. Oy vey. Dear. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I'm just having a quick look at Telegram. I think nothing's come up, but that's fine. No worries. That's A-OK. All right, then. Perfect. But yeah, I think I'll move on from there with that. I mean, the only last thing I will say is absolutely shameful behavior on most of some of the crowd there. Of course, Tommy himself. I think this should be a big wake-up call for a lot of the Tommy Robinson supporters, or even any setback for that matter, who supports Tommy Sheckelstein. He doesn't really support the people of Britain. In fact, you could even say he doesn't really give a fuck about the grooming gangs or anyone from Britain for that matter. And he's a complete tool for the state. I mean, I know he portrays himself as like he's very like anti-authoritarian and all of that, and very, very against the state. But he's basically in bed with that lot. I guarantee you that. Sorry if that was too spicy. That's no worries, Exile Viking. That's completely fine and dandy. Sniffy Acorn, how you doing? How's your evening, Chief Buddy? It's pretty fine and dandy. I'm just working on the show. I've got half an hour to go. Well, just about 28 minutes to go to be technical with that. And yeah, I think this will be the part of the show at this point in time where if you guys want to ask me any questions, paid or unpaid, then you can do so on my entropy. I'll just post a link in the chat just now. While I'm at it, I can also open up YouTube on another screen. The other screen being my phone, of course, because I'm running on a laptop here. Let me see here. This will be it. I'll post that now. And then see if I could pin it. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Let me see here. It should actually give me right. That's not. Hold on a second. I'm trying. Not necessarily a boomer moment on my part, but I'm trying to. Maybe that might pin it. Hold on. Crap, wrong one. Hold on. Oh, no, I didn't mean to. God damn it. Sorry. XL Viking, my apologies. I didn't mean to delete the comment. I tried to select. God damn it. Unpinned message. Yeah, there it is. XL Viking, I apologize. I didn't mean to delete the message. That's probably a boomer moment on my part. I would try to pin my message, but I pinned yours by accident. To try to unpin it, but I deleted it by accident. Damn it! No worries, Chief. That's fine. That's okay. Let's see here. 48 likes, which is really good for YouTube. I think there's quite a few likes on the other channels, like Odysee and whatnot, which again, really good stuff. Yeah, maybe we should open it up there. Oops. Pause that. There we go. Yep, that's it pinned. Okay. Spiffy Acorn, yeah, boom moment. He has been exiled. No, rigor mortis. No. Right, let's see here. That should be all right now. Yep, perfect. Okay then. Just want to see here. Right. So what I could mention if I do wait for any questions coming through in entropy, what I will say is for the Thursday episode with myself and my guest for that evening, Horace, as I mentioned, we'll be talking about the Roe v. Wade controversy, if you want to call it that. But anyway, that's something we'll definitely talk about there. Spiffy Acorn, Chief Moody, more like Chief Boomer or Chief Boomer. Yeah, thanks for that, Spiffy Acorn. If an exile gets exiled, does that mean he's allowed back in? Well, he's not been banned, so of course, he's definitely like still in the chat, so he's not been or put on the timeout or anything like that at all. Let me also open up. Oh, Woodlander's in the YouTube chat. Hello, Woodlander. Thanks so much for watching the show. How you doing? Let me see if I can also open up the Odysee chat as well and see what's also been said there. Because I'm mostly reading out the chat on YouTube because, again, that's the only chat that's popping up within StreamYard. But let's have a look and see this part here real quick. Let me get this up here. 189 followers on Odysee, which is really good stuff to see. Currently 5 people watching. That's good to see. Solely Urban and online storage. We don't have time to watch anime. Fair enough. Like I don't really watch a lot of anime nowadays, but yeah. Well, not as much. Well, actually, I don't. Actually, no. That's. I don't watch it really anymore, except for maybe Berserk or Fist of the North Star. But those cases is just reading books like manga and whatnot. But again, that's really beside the point. Yeah, Exile Viking is in the YouTube chat. I'm still here, guys. Fair enough. Yeah, as I said, it's not been timeout or it's been banned. I accidentally deleted the comment, but again, we'll just move on from there with that. So, and that's pretty much it with the Odysee chat. That's fine. What about DLive? Has anything been written or said in the DLive chat? I don't think there is, but as even on the page here, only one viewer. But let's have a look here. No, nothing. That's completely fine. No worries. Cool. I think 46 people are watching YouTube, which is really good to see. Exile Viking, now known as as Viking. Perfect. Right then. Okay, that's fine. Perfect. All right, perfect. Let me see here. The cartoony bit puts me off. Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough. What I was going to mention as well. So I've got Horace lined up for Thursday's episode. I am in talks with Ochiai-san to become a guest on the show, and I'll see if I can maybe talk to Mark about being on the show. I know hopefully he'll be fine with that idea I want to do for the future episode. So for those who missed it, I'll mention it very briefly. I want to bring Mark on the show as a guest, but we can also talk about his appearance on Young Nazi and Proud 20 years ago, because that documentary itself is going to be 20 years old at this point. It came out in 2002, and of course this year being 2022. So maybe we could do it as like a 20 years later retrospect for Mark's perspective on that. But again, that's only if he's up for it, not only as a guest on the show, and maybe talk about that documentary with the retrospect kind of idea. Chief Moody, this is from Streaky Bacon. Ochiai will be a great guest. Yeah, I do think he really wants to come on the show. at some point. It's just be the case of timing, because I know like he lives in Japan, I live in the UK. Where he lives, he's about 8 hours ahead of me. So say for example, if we were to do the stream at this time, 6 p.m. or even 5 p.m., is almost like a no-go kind of thing, because it would be over his time about 1 or 2, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, which of course I don't want to do that to him kind of thing. Have him basically do an all-nighter just so he could appear on my podcast kind of thing. So we'll definitely see from there and see how it can work kind of thing. But we'll definitely see with that in the near future. Let me see here. I wonder if there was actually something else to maybe talk about, because I think there was something that came to my attention. Was it earlier today, or was it maybe throughout this week? No, maybe not that. Oh, maybe I can mention this for Jodie, because I know this was something she wanted me to talk about on the previous episode, which I did technically in this case. But she posted something yesterday on her Telegram, the White Butterfly. I'll just read it out. It's the National Diversity Awards coming up, so be sure to vote for Professor Michael J. Goodwin, who has produced outstanding works on the neglect of white working class children. So what I'll do is I'll post that link in the chat if you want to give your support for this gentleman here, and we shall see from there. Let me see here. In 2002, I was 17 and knew nothing about ethnographics, and I believe the far right was the biggest threat to this country. But I woke up a long time ago, thank God. Well, that's good to hear that, brother. Good to hear that. I take that back. It was Danny Roscoe that I met. He was encouraging the aggressive rabble yesterday. He is up front in the video. I see. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's difficult as he got 6 kids. Oh dear. Yeah. Wait, has he got that amount? Jesus. Sorry for saying the Lord's name in vain, but that's damn. Yeah, I'll definitely see if I can arrange something with Uchiha-san, and then we'll definitely see with that from there. So, sorry, excuse me. Let me see here with that. 6:41. Not long to go. Anything come through with entropy? Nah, it's fine. Oh well, that's completely fine. No worries. I think it's. Is it still kind of? Well, that's fine. And not to worry about that. That's no worries whatsoever. I'll think I'll read out a couple of more of comments in the chat, and then what I'll do is I'll end the stream a little bit earlier tonight than expected, because again, there's really nothing for me to talk about more, because anything else, like say the Wade, I said it earlier on, the Roe v. Wade controversy earlier this week or last week. I'm just going to save that for Thursday's episode while I'll talk with Horace about that and then see from there. So, what's with the gift shirts? Are they sponsored or what? Well, I mean, I don't know if they would be sponsored, but I think they're trying to play this idea that Getter is meant to be this like free speech platform and all of that. But I mean, it's basically just a honeypot. Like, what's that video platform that's supposed that a lot of these subnets are using? Like, oh, this is if you thought this is going to be the next big YouTube. I think it's like Rumble. I think it was called. And again, it's meant to be this like video platform that's meant to be pro free speech, but alas, it doesn't really support free speech. It only supports free speech for the subnet types, if you will. So he's very impressive, speaks a good few languages, and organizes street protests with a megaphone shouting, and this is to do with Uchiha-san. Well, let me see. Danny Roscoe was always on Voice of Wales, subnet grifter. Oh dear. Fair enough. Let's see here. Again, just double checking with this here what came up. What even I could do actually, since maybe got a few new viewers here. Hold on one sec. Now, at the moment on my Telegram page, I have 469 followers, which is quite impressive. So definitely think that maybe I'm getting a lot more support for Telegram, which is really good to see. Because I would say for any newcomers and watching the show, if you would like to see more updates of myself, whether it be Mood of the Nation or anything like that at all, then you can always follow me on Telegram. That's probably the best place to follow me on in terms of updates and whatnot. So let me just post that in the chat. If you haven't followed me on Telegram yet, please definitely do so already. If you haven't, rigor mortis real quick. Even Elon's version of freedom of speech is cut. Oh dear. Yeah, I don't really trust this whole Elon Musk thing when it comes to Twitter. Like, I think that's yeah, I don't really trust that. 'Cause I know a lot of people were just like, "Oh, this is so based." Elon Musk bought uh, uh, like some portion of Twitter, and now it can promote free speech again. But nah, I don't trust that for a moment, to be quite honest. But anyway, anyone remember Parlor? I do remember Parlor. I think if I joined Parlor for maybe like a couple of, maybe for a month or so, but then I've heard that again it was another honeypot kind of thing, so I just deleted it afterwards. Also, is mine still relevant? I remember mines. I remember people like Sargon and all of that were really trying to push mines as like their own platform, but I mean it's just sitting at garbage now at this point, isn't it? But Musk is in the gang. Don't trust him. Yep, fair dues, fair dues. So I think Minds is still around, but I don't think it's as relevant as what say Parlor or even Getter are at this point. But anyway, Parlor is the big game. Ah dear. Ah dear. Oh, that's a good show. This is from Aldebaran. Ragnar Iron Spirit will be live in 30 minutes. Excellent. Let me see if I can find his channel, and I'll see if I can post a link here. If Ragnar Iron Spirit, if you're still watching, I don't know if you don't mind me doing so. Let me see if I can find it here. Hold on one sec. Ragnar. Actually, maybe a best way for me to find his channel would be through here, I think. Wait a minute. Give me 1 second, folks. I'll see if I can get this up here. Let me see if I can find Ragnar Iron Spear, and I'll see if I can plug his channel. So if you haven't followed him already, because I think he is starting to do live streams. So if you haven't followed him already, please definitely do so. And then give him your support, of course. Where is it? Where is it? I think I might have went past it, actually. Hold on one sec. I'll see if I can get this back up here now. Or have I went past it? No, I don't think I have. But where was it before? I wonder. Okay. I'll type it in. Iron Spear. 1 second. Gab is a way to go. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't use Gab as much, which I really should definitely do so, but I think Gab is probably the best of these types of platforms. But anyway, is this the one? It is perfect. Right. So I got the stream for Ragnar Iron Spear, which will be streaming live at 7 p.m. just after me. So what I'll do is I will post the link for his stream in the chat. So if you guys want to give him a watch, please definitely do so. And also, if you haven't done so already, please follow him as well, or subscribe to his channel. That would be much appreciated. I'll see if I can get the Odysee link up as well, and I'll post it there as well. And once I've done that, I will then end the stream. Again, I know it's a bit early, but again, there's nothing really else to talk about. Anything I was planning on talking about, I'll just save that for the next episode with Horace, and we'll see with that from there. So post it on Odysee, and there we go. Perfect. Rightio. Excellent. Yep, so I've done that, and I think that will be the end of tonight's episode. So just before I leave as well, one final point to make. Does Ochiai have a channel? Yeah, he does. Hold on, I'll get that up in a moment. No, Ochiai, and I think Streaky Bacon can vouch for me in saying this as well, but Ochiai, it's a bit strange with his streams because he does do a lot of like learning other languages like Korean and all of that, but it's pretty worth watching nonetheless. I mean, he'll definitely talk to the English speaking subscribers of his. Like I know he addresses me and Streaky Bacon a lot. Let me see if I can get his channel up here, and please give him sub, even if he's live next time in his chat. Maybe if you can mention you came from my show or whatever, but and then you just to let him know where you came from, because you probably would wonder where all these other subs are coming from. But anyway, so let's see, post this here. Right, that's the link for Chiai's channel. Give him a sub if you don't mind, and that will be it with that there. One final thing I will mention before I leave, and Joe has mentioned in the chat that the song to play us out with. I'll definitely play that for tonight. If again, like I mentioned at the start of the show, if you'd like to support me financially, however you'd like, you can always donate to me through Ko-fi or PayPal directly. The links of those will be in the description down below on both YouTube and Odysee. Again, please don't feel as if you have to, or feel obligated as if you have to. If you'd like to support me financially, however amount you like, the option is there now. So if you want to, then the links will be there. And if you want to donate however amount, then I would greatly appreciate that. If you do do that, great, awesome. I greatly appreciate your kind generosity. If you don't do that, again, that's completely fine for that. So just thought I'd mention that as the closing part for the show tonight. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching tonight's episode. And I'm just going to get back up the comment. We live and die in these towns by the enemy. Let me get that song up here. Right, okay. 1 second. The enemy. These towns. I got this page up here. Perfect. Thank you for that, Joe. I greatly appreciate that. I'll play the song right here with that. So excellent. Right then. So again, like I said, thank you all very much for watching tonight's episode, and I appreciate you all being here. Your continued on support is just phenomenal. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I greatly appreciate you all being here and showing your support every day, every week. It really means a lot to me with that, and I really can't thank you all enough. Even just watching the streams or even a video, I greatly appreciate it. Or even just sharing the stream and all of that, I greatly appreciate it. Like I really can't thank you all enough for your continued support. I will be back for Thursday's episode on the 12th of May with episode 82 with my guest with the guest appearance of Horace, who will be the guest of Mood of the Nation that episode. And please stay tuned for that. Any updates or anything like that at all, again, follow me on Telegram or Gab or anywhere else. Just type in Chief Moody and then you'll definitely see me there. Other than that, that will be the end of tonight's episode. So I hope you've enjoyed, and thank you all very much again for watching tonight's episode. This is Chief Moody. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and have a great start to the new week tomorrow. And I'll see you next time. Take care, stay safe, and good night. Thank you.
time in smoky rooms where good old women with cheap perfume say it never happens to people like us, you know, nothing ever happened on its own. And while the toilet smells of desperation, the streets all echo of aggravation, you wonder why you can't get no sleep when you've got nothing to do and you've had nothing to eat. Your life's slipping and sliding right out of you, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do. Well, who live and die in these towns. Don't let it drag you down, don't let it drag you down now. Who live and die in these towns. Don't let it drag you down, don't let it drag you down now. Dirty dishes from a TV mill that went cold from the wind through a smashed up window. You can't go out if anybody calls you, cause you can't have a bath when there's no hot water, and your friends are out on the town again, and you ask yourself if it'll ever end. And it's all too much for your head to take, just a matter of time before you break. Well, who live and die in these towns. Don't let it drag you down, don't let it drag you down now. Who live and die in these towns. Don't let it drag you down, don't let it drag you down now. Oh, now. Oh, now. Who live and die in these towns. Don't let it drag you down, don't let it drag you down now. Who live and die in these towns. Don't let it drag you down, don't let it drag you down now.